Okay, Wendy, the recording is in process.
Yep.
Today is November the 8th. We're doing this on a Wednesday this week, Wendy. I got to get out of town for a couple of days. So we're doing this on a Wednesday, Wendy. College football is rocking and
Yeah, it is.
rolling. Everybody get ready. Wendy, what's up?
Listen, I'm just trying to tell everybody this has just turned into one of the absolute best Alabama seasons of all time. College football season, really. Little concerned that we've got too many teams though that haven't lost, and we've got some pretty good one-loss teams right now. I'm a little concerned how all this thing's going to head out here in December, but right now, college football Saturdays are the best day of the week right now.
Best day of the week, Wendy. We're going to do this. We do this every week, Wendy. We do this every week. These things have been about 25 minutes long the past couple of weeks. We really try to keep it around 20 minutes. Number one, I don't know that we can talk that long. Number two, I have a really short attention span. So anything over about 20 minutes gets me. So we're going to try to keep this in 20 minutes. We will see if that happens. Let's bust through the games real quick, Wendy, from last week, and then we're going to get to the Alabama LSU game. Wendy, real quick, Ole Miss A&M kicked us off at 11 o'clock. So Ole Miss plays Texas A&M. Wendy, in a game that went back and forth, some odd coaching decisions. A&M misses a field goal late, and Lane Kiffin and his hair win the football game, and Jimbo Fisher goes down. Wendy, what's up?
Crazy game. Great game, by the way. I mean, it was a phenomenal game, back and forth, back and forth. When they had that muffed punt, I got so tickled because I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. Lane Kiffin hates kickers. You know what I mean? It's like, but Trey, one of the best games of the day, but I'm really glad that Ole Miss figured out a way to pull it out. I cannot stand Jimbo Fisher. I hope he never wins another football game. But listen, kickers are trash. That's all I've got to say. Kickers are trash.
Well, they're part of the team too, and we'll talk about that later. But as far as A&M and Ole Miss is concerned, Ole Miss is about to scored a touchdown to make it 21-7, and here we go. It gets called back on a penalty. Then they get a field goal block. Next thing you know, it's 14-7, and it's a huge swing in the game. A&M was able to stay in the game. Wendy, it's real simple with A&M. A&M, Jimbo Fisher cannot get his team to buy in,
right?
Because there's either two things going on: either their coaching is terrible. Which I just don't think their coaching could be that bad, or they can't get their kids to buy into the program. Either one, something's going on to where he cannot get these kids to buy into his program. But Lane Kiffin is on the roll. We'll talk about him here in a minute, Wendy. Let's see, the Georgia-Missouri game. Wendy, I didn't get to see this game really. I was at a UAB football game. We had a good time there. But Georgia ends up pulling it out. Wendy, what did you see in the game?
What I saw was Missouri give it their absolute best effort, and Georgia only won that game by 7 points, right? I mean, it was only a touchdown. I think they won it by. Okay, 9 points. Missouri, you did the best that you could do, but it is what it is. Trey, Georgia's just the number one team in college football. They just look that good. I mean, I can't say anything bad about Georgia. I thought it'd be a little bit more high scoring of a game, but Missouri's defense showed up, and you got to give them. They played their biggest game of the year on Saturday. Missouri did.
I talked to Barry down there about the game. Obviously, he's a huge Georgia fan. He said the game was a really good football game. It was really chippy. So, and I kind of like that. I like people to be a little bit upset while they're playing and a little bit chippy. Barry did say that it was a little bit chippy. The coach for Missouri was kind of bouncing all off the wall down there. But Georgia finds a way to win, which is what good teams do. They found a way to win, and they're on to this week. They'll play Ole Miss this week. Wendy, just a real quick thing. We're going to get to the Alabama-LSU game because that's what we want to talk about. Clemson does beat Notre Dame. So all these people that bash Dabo, bash this and bash that, Clemson wins again. I think Dabo becomes the winningest coach at Clemson. And for all the haters out there, man, sit back and relax, man. You have a bad day, you have a bad year. Dabo is a great coach, and he'll get the thing figured out. All right, Wendy, the Alabama Crimson Tide. What
Big
we
winners.
Wake up for on Saturday beats LSU. Ends up beating LSU by 14 points. Wendy, what's up? What's up?
I'm sorry for being the naysayer of Alabama football all year. I was wrong. I mean, that was the most complete game. What did I tell you I wanted to see? I don't know if we can go toe-to-toe with this guy. We went toe-to-toe. Score for score, score for score. Our quarterback scored 4 touchdowns. He never hesitated to run. You see what I'm saying? Some of this hesitation drives me crazy. Make a decision, throw the ball or run the ball. You're big enough to make some of these plays with your legs. You know what I mean? I mean, little JT Daniels is this big around. Our guy's beefy. Run the ball. Our coaching calls, our offensive coordinator looked like a phenomenal coach somehow all of a sudden. You see, I didn't want to get him fired one time during that game. Defense played lights out. It was a phenomenal football game. I thought the game itself was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Best game Alabama's played all year, most complete game we've played all year, and we needed the win bad. We needed it, and we got it. So, real excited. Did you freeze? But what do you mean, is that it? You're the one saying that we can only go 20 minutes. I could talk for 2 hours. I'm trying to keep it to 20 minutes. You've messed with my creativity. Now you've got me looking at a clock.
I'm looking at a clock. Wendy, it was just a side note. I mean, it's not like that big of a deal, but I don't want to just keep going on and on. I'm a little hyped up today. I've got a bunch of stuff going on, and I'm trying to get some other stuff done. Wendy, I agree with you. I did ask you to write some things down, Wendy. How many things did you write down?
I wrote one note down and I sent it to you on the phone. There was no way I was writing anything down during our game. Like, I was trying to stay alive. Like, I was trying to stay alive during our game. Like, it was a nerve-wracking game. It wasn't like, I mean, we were tied up 7-7, 14-14, 21. Then they score 20. Then they come out in the half. They score the second they come out. But then we answered. Like, we just looked so good.
Yeah. Well, Wendy, let me run down, because I did write some things down because I wouldn't remember. Number one, I mean, listen, you talk about the glory days of Alabama football, about, the Bear Bryant days in the 60s and the 70s and, all this stuff and everything like that. What it feels like right now is that's what we're living in. I know we've been doing this for 15 or 16 years with Saban, but see that stadium rocking like it was, and to win that game like it did, the Tennessee game, the LSU game. I mean, you're living in some of the greatest times of Alabama football. The stadium was absolutely electric. There's a couple things that I did write down.
Okay.
When Alabama runs out on the field, Alabama runs out onto the field, and I don't know when this started, or I'm not sure that I like it, but they run out onto the field, everybody's screaming, the lights, the band, doot, 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 doot. Well, our team runs down to like the 10-yard line, and here comes the opposing team kind of right at them to run to their sideline. So LSU runs out right in front of them. And Alabama players are standing there and jawing and talking, and one of our players in the middle of them. And Wendy, I don't remember us doing that, and I'm not sure that I'm all for that. Alabama, maybe run onto the field, get to your sideline, warm up, and then just go beat them on the field. I don't know that I like that. Wendy, another big thing was a 4th down stop. Alabama had a 4th down stop. Wendy, I'm at halftime wondering how we cannot stop this quarterback from LSU. I mean, the dude sits there, looks, and then runs for 55 yards. Yep. It's like, if we're trying to stop this guy, we got a problem, because we cannot stop the guy. He is just that good. The tip ball, obviously the tip ball interception where we scored to go up 14 points was one of the turning points of the game.
But what did I tell you had to happen? I said our defense has to get a turnover. They've got to get a turnover, and they did it against Tennessee, and they did it against LSU. That was the biggest thing of that game. That changed all the momentum, Trey. We were able to score. That was the best play of the game, in my opinion. That and Brian Kelly going for 4th and 1, idiot.
Yeah, probably not the smartest call. And then obviously, Wendy, something else everybody's talking about on here is the hit number 15 put on the quarterback. It looks bad. I don't think it's as bad as it looked. I think he just kind of caught him. I don't think it was malicious. I mean, maybe the diving into it might have been a little bit, but things are happening fast out there. Hated to see the guy get hurt. I really did.
What I
wanted the guy to finish the game. What?
If you go back to 5 years ago, this is how every quarterback got hit. Like, this is not, I grew up on football like that. We've just now been in an era where let's save the quarterbacks. Now, granted, I'm like you, JT Daniels is just so good. I didn't want him to leave the game because I didn't want there to be the narrative of, well, if he would have stayed in the game, could they have come back and beat Alabama? Dude, y'all, we were up by 2 touchdowns at that point. Like,
yeah, this is a friendly reminder. Football is a violent game.
Yes,
I mean,
violent.
It's wild out there. I mean, it is people flying, hitting, scratching, clawing, trying to do everything they can do. Bama's defense steps up again. They're really, really good this year, Wendy. And one thing we will not do again on this podcast, is bring up the Alabama kicker.
Ever again, Trey, because – listen, we needed it. Thank goodness that didn't end up mattering. It could have mattered big time, though, Trey. That could have mattered. It could have mattered. But you're never allowed to say his name again, ever.
So Will Riker missed 2 field goals, and we are not allowed to bring up Alabama's field goal kicker. And here's the good thing. Listen, these kickers are going to miss kicks. That is just a wave. I mean, you're just going to miss kicks. Hopefully he missed these and got these out of the way, and now he can kind of start hitting some more again. But, Wendy, nobody's allowed to bring up Alabama.
Nobody can bring him up, not even in the comments. Yep.
All right, let's move to this, Wendy, real quick. That was kind of last week's games. There's a couple things that our producer wanted us to talk about this week.
Okay.
And our producer wanted us to bring back Bob, the stats guy.
Bob, the stats guy, but he wants to start. You mean our anonymous stats guy?
Yeah, so Bob is our stepdad.
Yeah.
Bob is our stepdad. He lives in Knoxville with our mom, and he is a great guy, big Alabama football fan, but Bob wants to remain anonymous.
Yep.
He doesn't want anybody to know who he is, but he is our stepdad. Married to our mom. So so he does come through with a big stat, Wendy.
Big stat.
The stats, and I'm going to read this a little bit. Going into the game, Alabama was 46 of 106, 43% on third down conversions. So this is a big part of the game, Alabama third down conversions. Alabama was 43% going into the game. Last night, or the night they played against LSU, they were 11-14, almost 80% on third down. So they almost doubled that. Wendy, it was a big deal. Every time it was 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15, Milroe would run or throw or whatever he did. He got it. And by the way, LSU is currently number 1 in the country of third down efficiency, and they were only 4 of 9.
Wow, so our defense held. Yeah. Great job, Dean.
Yeah, so Bob, good stat there. We will keep you anonymous so nobody knows who you are. So that was a big deal, Wendy. And if you look at the play chart, Wendy, I think LSU only ran like 25 plays in the second half. Right. Alabama had a huge drive late in the game, a 7 or 8 minute drive, which we said they would need to do, and they came up with a big one late to really close the game. And I think that's how we're going to have to win. One more thing, Wendy, is do we know our buddy Nacho?
Oh, Chris! Nacho. But I call him Chris.
Yeah, like we've said before, if you knew Chris before he was 18 years old, he's Chris Arnold.
That's right.
If you knew Chris after he was 18 years old, a lot of people know him as Nacho.
But here's what's funny about Chris Arnold is we don't call him Chris. We've always called him Chris Arnold. Like, you know what I mean? He's Chris Arnold. He's not really Chris. Correct.
Well, he sent some notes, and he is calling these Nacho's notes. And we're going to try to get Chris. Nacho's notes. So we're going to try to get Chris on here. Unfortunately, this week, we're just really too busy, and we got to do this a day early. So this is what Nacho says. Offense finally seems to be lined up with Milroe's strengths. Got that. Bama played a full 60 minutes. He likes that. That TD LSU scored right before the half should have never happened.
Agreed.
That's when I thought we were in trouble.
Yep.
Milroe took over the game and was confident in himself for 60 minutes. And the big one is Alabama has no turnovers. Huge,
Nacho. Huge. We could not deal with the turnover, especially in that second half. Absolutely huge. Nacho's notes.
And remember, Wendy, Bob wants to remain anonymous.
Bob is anonymous. Nobody knows who he is.
All right.
But listen, we got to move on to this week's games because I'm about to blow your mind with my new theory.
All right, let's get to this week's games,
Yep.
Wendy. Then we're going to do it quick. Michigan, Penn State. I literally do not care.
Don't care, but Trey, well, Michigan's got to lose, so go Penn State.
Well, Michigan's got to lose, but I might watch 12 other games before I'd watch that game. Okay, who cares? Tennessee versus Missouri.
Okay, listen, I think this is going to be a tougher game than Tennessee wants it to be. Tennessee better show up to actually play. Is that game in Tennessee or at Missouri? Do you know?
I don't know. I think it's actually in Tennessee, isn't it? Or it might be Missouri. I'll have to check.
That's going to matter, but, let me tell you something. Tennessee
looks like it's at Missouri.
Okay. Well, Tennessee has to beat Missouri. Tennessee cannot lose another game. They've got to beat Missouri. I believe that they can, but I'm just trying to tell you, I think this Missouri team's a lot better than what we think, and I think actually Missouri is going to figure out a way to pull it out. I see Missouri beating them by 14. I really do.
Wendy, have no fear. If you're a Tennessee Volunteers fan, Missouri has put everything on the line for 6 or 7 weeks. They had a huge game last week, probably looking at an emotional letdown. The one good thing Missouri has is they're playing at home. But if you are a Tennessee Vols fan, which there are a lot of great Tennessee Vols fans, get ready to sing Rocky Top again. I mean, get ready to sing Rocky Top.
You'll always be home, sweet home to me. Well, let me tell you something, Trey. You get all these Tennessee fans worked up, and every time you call them to win, they lose. So if I were you Tennessee fans.
That's incorrect. That's actually
not
false.
Okay, well, a lot of the times, 75% of the time when he calls for a win, they lose. Just remember that, guys.
Listen, if you're a Tennessee fan, just get ready to roll. Tennessee is good. Missouri's not as good as you think they are. Tennessee's ready to go play some football, and Tennessee might score 100 points this week.
Okay.
Might.
We'll see.
They just might. All right, Wendy, Georgia Bulldogs, Ole Miss Red Bulls. Huge game. You got Lane Kiffin-Hare coming into town. Georgia with another big test. It's going to be at Georgia. Who's going to win the game, Wendy? What's up?
I actually need Georgia to win, and I know you can't believe I just said that. So I'm out on this theory. I think we've got to get to Georgia undefeated, and we've got to beat an undefeated Georgia team in the SEC to make it into the college football playoff. I do not believe at this point that if Georgia loses to Ole Miss or Tennessee, I feel like they'll fall out of the top 4. And I, at that point, do not know if Alabama will get in. I need an unbeaten Georgia team for the SEC championship game. So let's go Dogs is all I got to say. Let's go Dogs. I've totally flipped the script from last week. I do not need them to lose anymore. Trey, we didn't even move up. They want Oregon in there so bad. They're salivating. Like, I'm just telling you, if Georgia loses before they have to play us in the SEC, it could be a year that you see an SEC team not get in.
Well, that would be absolutely bizarre. And Wendy is now a Georgia fan.
Yeah.
Go Dogs.
For 2 weeks. Go Dogs.
You have to say go Dogs.
Go Dogs. 2 weeks.
All right, let's see what Georgia can do. Wendy, it should be a good game. I feel like kind of the same way with Ole Miss. Ole Miss, it just feels like they're playing a little bit on borrowed time a little bit.
Yeah.
But you don't know. Maybe this team's catch lightning in a bottle and they're going to make a run at this thing. They're going to put some pressure on Georgia's defense.
Yes.
And if Georgia does get in a shootout, that would be a little bit different than anything they've had to do this year.
Right.
So it should be a good game. Wendy, last game we're going to talk about, we got to get out of here. The Alabama Crimson Tide is going to go up to Kentucky at 11 o'clock Central Time.
Yep.
We're talking biscuit game. We're talking road game. We're talking huge game after a couple of huge emotional games with Alabama. Can Alabama get off the bus and beat Kentucky?
Yeah, but what's so funny is they're going to beat Kentucky, but I think it's going to be a closer game than we want it to be because of the emotional hangover from the last couple of weeks. Personal opinion, what I really hope to see is that we've turned this corner consistently and that we're just going to go in there and blast them by 30, 40 points, and the next week blast Auburn. Like, that's my hope, right? Yeah. But I don't know. This team's not showed us consistently that they're going to be able to win by big points in these games. So my thought process, it's probably going to be closer than what we think, but they're absolutely going to beat Kentucky. There's no way we don't beat Kentucky, right?
Okay, there is a way I'm sure there's a way we don't beat Kentucky. That's turning the football over, making huge special teams mistakes. That is a definite way that we can get beat by Kentucky. Wendy, do I think that's going to happen? No. I think Alabama has found their stride. They're rolling. they're going to go up there and they're going to put it on Kentucky. Now, if they check up a little bit, Kentucky might make this a closer game. But Wendy, I see Alabama going up there and really playing a good football game, and the Tide is going to roll this weekend. Wendy, we are coming to the end of our podcast.
Yep.
The podcast, whatever this is. You call me. How long have we been on the air?
I don't know, but probably less than 20 minutes, because you told me right before we get on that we got to keep it to 20. Trey, it's normally like 24 minutes. Then you messed up all my creativity. I had like 6 really funny things I thought I could say, but not anymore. So next week, when you're not so busy, we'll do our regular podcast.
Wendy, here comes the whole point of this. The whole point of this is when I tell you, when you think of this funny creativity stuff, write it down.
It's supposed to be off the cuff. It's supposed to be off the cuff.
How's that working out?
It's working out great. I think I'm the entertainment of the show. Like,
well, you are.
Right.
You are, but you're not giving me anything because you hadn't written it down and you've gotten frazzled because I was putting a time constraint on you.
Well, the frazzling started, let me tell everybody here, because we're brother and sister. The frazzling actually started before we ever got on air because he didn't like the way where my computer sat because of the lighting in the background. So let me tell you something. He started off a little moody today, but I'm going to end it with this. Georgia's got to win out. I don't care what anybody over there is thinking. I could have a 20-minute conversation about what the committee is trying to do to Alabama. We got to get us in there some way, somehow. And I'm telling you, they'll figure out a way to get Oregon in there because of all of Oregon's money. So I'm trying to tell everybody right now, you better be rooting for those Georgia dang Bulldogs. Even though I hate to say it, we've got to root for them.
Go Dogs, roll tide. Hey, Will and Bear, everybody that comments on our YouTube channel, like, subscribe. And I'll be honest with you, we do not know what happens when you like and subscribe.
We don't.
Like, subscribe, comment. We will read the comments out. Will and Bear put some comments on there. Mom always puts comments on there. We love to see the comments. We'll get it going. Y'all have a great weekend. I love you, Wendy, and I'll talk to you later.
Roll tide.
All right. Bye.
Bye.